Hey there, Michael here at Impact Wisconsin again. Wanted to talk to you today just a little bit about boundaries. This is a huge topic because it covers not only boundaries for ourselves, boundaries between us and our peers, boundaries for our own personal lives, but also boundaries professionally. So, in this particular video, I wanted to cover the topic of boundaries professionally, what a peer support specialist is and what they are not. So there's been a lot of difficulty over the past several years as peer support has risen in popularity, sort of determining exactly what our role is and how we should be interacting with clinicians, how we should be interacting with peers, how we should be interacting with other treatment professionals, depending on what level of certification they have, what their core competencies are, and the way that they're trying to do their job. So as a peer support specialist, it's extremely important to remember the first word, which is peer. We are somebody who knows, we are somebody that has been there, we are somebody who's probably walked the same path that this person is walking down right now. However, we are not a sponsor. We're not there to give lectures. We're not there to read them the big book. We're not there to walk them through the steps per se. We are there to encourage them to get a sponsor. We're there to encourage them to walk the steps, but we're also there to encourage them to get out in their community. We're encouraging them to build resilience. We're showing them how to build resilience. Now, there's no way to do what we want to do without being able to understand basic psychological concepts such as the Big Five personality traits, and to just kind of understand and know what certain people's proclivities are and how those things are instantiated in their personality, right? Like we need to understand these things. So we will talk about them and we'll get to know them better. But what we need to understand is we can only learn and know those things in order to use them as tools to help us be a better peer, not to diagnose, not to treat, not to change, but to know where this person should go when it comes to certain things that they're dealing with. Somebody's dealing, let's say, using one of the big five personality traits, for example, who is high in neuroticism. Now, that doesn't mean we should sit down with them and say, lay down on my couch and tell me all your woes, and I'm going to give you some personal advice here on how you ought to fix that. When we find out that somebody might be high in neuroticism, we would probably recommend that they go see a physician. Maybe they need to be put on some sort of antidepressant, or maybe they need to be walked through some cognitive behavioral therapy, or maybe they do need something a little bit more intense like inpatient or something like that in order to overcome those mental health struggles and stresses. But what we cannot do is say, you need to be put on an SSRI and you need to go into treatment and you need to take such and such therapy, and here's the person you're going to call and talk to, and that's how it's going to go. So we need to use our observations in a general way to build resiliency, giving them as many contacts as we can with other professionals that do provide those types of clinical services. Those things are super important. We have to have good relationships with those people, and we'll find out, and you'll find out very quickly that if you're willing to walk with inside of your own professional boundaries and you're willing to say, that's just really way outside of my wheelhouse, but I know so and so at such and such is really good with this, and I recommend you go there and let them know that I sent you. You'll build those relationships really fast where you'll be able to work better with your peers, better with the other peer professionals in your community, as well as just better with the clinicians and better with those in law enforcement, better with those on drug court teams, etc., etc. So boundaries, while it does kind of sort of feel like we're limiting ourselves and limiting what we can do, we're actually growing the reach that we have, and we're growing the trust that the community has in us because we're willing to stick within those lines. We're willing to undergo accountability to make sure that we're not overstepping our bounds, and we're willing to go the extra mile to make sure that we have given every resource that we can possibly give our peer to increase and sustain resiliency. So that is our sort of clinical boundaries in a nutshell, and we will talk more in this module about personal boundaries and other professional boundaries as we go through the course. But I thought this was an important topic to cover and an important video to make. So thanks for bearing with me and hearing me out. And we can't wait to see you in person at the training. If you have any questions for me in the meantime, you can feel free to email me at michael@impactwi.org. It's michael@impactwi.org. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.